Hey guys, what's up? This is Blaze the Movie Fan and it's time for another episode review. This time I will be reviewing the Simpsons episode Homer's Enemy. So this episode begins by introducing us to the character that this episode focuses on, which is Frank Grimes. He's basically a guy who has had a very shitty life and incredibly bad luck. But even despite that, he works very hard to get the diploma to work at a power plant, and he eventually gets it. After Mr. Burns notices his life story, he wants to hire that guy and fucking promote him on the spot. But unfortunately for Frank, the very next day, Mr. Burns totally forgets about it and decides to promote a dog instead. But Frank still gets the job and has to work close to Homer Simpson. Now, since Frank Grimes is the main focus of this episode, I think I should tell you what I think of the guy. Now, he is basically a guy who just wants to do his job correctly, but he constantly gets annoyed by Homer's idiocy. To be honest, in this episode, I was not rooting for Homer Simpson at all. In fact, I was rooting for Frank more than I was rooting for Homer. Because Frank is legitimately a good employee. Now, Homer does many idiotic things in this episode that really annoys Frank. He steals Frank's lunch, but Frank lets it slide since it's the first dumb thing that Homer does. Homer empties a bucket of water over the control panel. Homer bites Frank's pencils. And most importantly, Homer is also very fucking lazy. Yeah, I understand exactly why Frank is annoyed by that guy. If I worked on a place and had to deal with a fucking idiot while I'm just trying to mind my own business, doing my job, of course I would be fucking annoyed just like Frank is. And Frank is also shocked that Homer got to work at that power plant without any fucking education whatsoever. Now Frank is so fucking annoyed by Homer's idiocy that it leads him to fucking hate Homer Simpson. In fact, he hates him so fucking much that he decides that Homer is his enemy. Of course, Homer is not happy about that at all. And Frank also wants to prove to the entire power plant that Homer Simpson is a fucking idiot. But it doesn't work because all the employees of the power plant already know for a fact that Homer Simpson is a fucking idiot. And the people at that power plant love Homer for it. And Homer wants to become friends with Frank. So you know what Homer does? He invites Frank for dinner. But unfortunately for Homer, he can't change Frank's mind. In fact, when Frank visits Homer, he gets even more reasons to fucking hate Homer. Frank notices that Homer has so many wonderful things. He has a great family. There are 2 cars in the family. Homer has been in space once. He has even met a US president. And overall, Homer has a very fucking great life. But Frank is being extremely blunt and tells Homer that he doesn't fucking deserve any of the good things that he got. And you know what? I completely agree with Frank. Homer does not deserve all the great things that he got in his life. In fact, he got those great things out of pure fucking luck. And meanwhile, Frank, someone who just wants to do his job right and wants to mind his own business, gets punished. Which makes me wonder, is the fact that idiots get rewarded while smart people get punished also work in real life as well? I wouldn't put that past me, considering the fact that the Simpsons have several times made fun of real life situations. The next day, Homer doesn't want to get back to work since Frank did hurt his feelings. Looks like somebody can't handle the truth. But when Homer finally gets back to work, Frank doesn't give up. He still wants to prove to the power plant that Homer is a fucking idiot. So you know what Frank does next? He tries to enter Homer into a contest that is supposed to be for kids. But unfortunately, Frank's plan totally fucking backfires on him, and Homer gets praised for entering that contest despite the fact that this contest was meant for children. I really feel sorry for Frank. I really do. But then Frank goes absolutely fucking nuts and tries to act like Homer Simpson. And he touches electricity wires, which leads to his death. And the worst part about Frank is nobody who truly cared about Frank joined his funeral. In fact, everyone at that fucking funeral laughs at Homer while he does something stupid. What kind of a funeral do people laugh? Let's get another reason why I feel so bad for poor Frank. One last thing to say about Frank, and it's the fact that Frank is the exact opposite of Homer. And that is exactly why those two couldn't get along. Before I get to my overall thoughts on this episode, I am going to talk about the side story with Bart and his warehouse. To be honest, I found the side story with Bart and Milhouse to be completely fucking pointless. It was just him messing around in a warehouse. I didn't find that funny or entertaining in the slightest. In fact, the side story with Bart and Milhouse is very fucking boring. But at least Bart isn't as annoying as he usually is. I will give him a credit for that. Now it's time for my overall thoughts. This is a fucking awesome episode because of how relatable Frank is. And of course, it also made me laugh, since Homer's idiocy always makes me laugh. And you know what? I'm going to give this episode 2 thumbs up. I fucking love this episode. Well guys, that's all I gotta say. Thank you for watching and have a great day.